On December 5, 1945, 5 U.S. Navy aircraft took off from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on what was supposed to be a routine training mission. The 5 aircraft were TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, operating together as Flight 19. There were 14 men aboard the 5 aircraft, and the flight was led by Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, an experienced naval aviator. Their training exercise was known as Navigation Problem Number 1. The plan was to fly east from Florida, conduct practice bombing at an area known as Hens and Chicken Shoals, then turn north toward the Bahamas before eventually returning to Fort Lauderdale. At first, everything appeared normal. The crews completed their practice bombing and continued the mission. But later that afternoon, something went wrong. Radio communications indicated that the flight was having serious difficulties determining its position. Lieutenant Taylor reported problems with navigation and believed they were somewhere they apparently were not. The pilots became increasingly uncertain about which direction would take them back to Florida. As time passed, their situation became more dangerous. The weather was also deteriorating, and the aircraft were using fuel while the crews were trying to find their way back. Radio transmissions became increasingly concerning. The pilots reported that they were lost and having difficulty determining their position. Eventually, communication with Flight 19 was lost. 14 men and all 5 Avengers disappeared. But the story did not end there. The U.S. Navy immediately launched a major search operation. 2 TBM Mariner flying boats were sent to search for the missing aircraft. One of them, known as Training 49, disappeared during the search as well. 13 men were aboard that aircraft. Search teams from the Navy and Coast Guard spent days searching enormous areas of the Atlantic and surrounding waters. Aircraft and ships covered hundreds of thousands of square miles, but no confirmed wreckage from Flight 19 was found. No bodies were recovered. No life raft or confirmed oil slick was discovered. The disappearance therefore became one of the most famous mysteries in aviation history. Over the years, many theories appeared. Some stories connected Flight 19 to the mysterious Bermuda Triangle. Others suggested unusual magnetic forces, UFOs, or even supernatural explanations. However, there is no reliable evidence that Flight 19 disappeared because of anything supernatural. The U.S. Navy's historical research points instead toward navigation difficulties, disorientation, fuel exhaustion, and worsening weather as possible factors. Importantly, the exact cause of the loss of the 5 Avengers has never been conclusively established. Even Lieutenant Taylor, who was initially criticized for the incident, was later officially cleared of blame. The final conclusion was that the cause of the accident remained unknown. Today, Flight 19 remains one of the most famous stories associated with the Bermuda Triangle. It is a story of 5 aircraft, 14 men, a routine training mission that turned into a desperate struggle to find their way home, and a mystery that has remained unsolved for more than 80 years. The legend is powerful, but the historical record reminds us that mystery does not necessarily mean the supernatural. Sometimes the real story is simply that we still do not have all the answers.